I love the fact that you said you have to be healthy, selfish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about what you mean by that.
Such a great question. If you say that, most people, if you say to them, hey, I want you to be selfish, most people are going to say, whoa, like, no. Like, I'm not selfish. Like, I'm a great person.
I'm totally excited for this because this is going to be so good. So as soon as we get onto Facebook Live, I'm going to introduce you guys, Ryan and Sky, both of you. Ryan, what is your...
I am an agent with Compass in Manhattan, and I own Very Social. I'm the CEO. We're a social media agency that collaborates with real estate agents to help build their brand on social media. And I wrote a book called The Very Social Broker, which helps agents take their business to the next level on social media.
I love it. I love it. So welcome, everybody. We are now ready to launch this amazing webinar. I want to kind of first introduce you to Sky Michaels. Is that correct, Sky?
Yep, that's correct. Yep.
Amazing. I've been ever since I've seen those emails come through, I've been wanting to talk to you because you've got this agenda already set of how to be successful. And we don't understand that success comes from within, but you're going to tell us all about it. And you're 6 a.m.ers, right, Ryan? That's what you said.
Yeah.
I want to know more about that. So without further ado, welcome to LabCoatAgents, where we have, we're always sharing, learning, and growing from each other. So thank you so much. And Ryan, from Very Social, amazing intro that you just gave while we were going live. Very Social, the content, the information that you always are willing to share with us. By the way, I have a webinar with you in a couple of weeks, so I'm looking forward to that one too. But welcome, both of you. Thank you so much for coming. Talk to us a little bit. Let's start off by talking, you sharing with us a little bit about the 6 a.m. club, sort of 6 a.m.ers, right? Talk to me a little bit about that.
So I'll give you the brief history to start out. If everyone can remember March of 2020, we had this little thing called COVID that hit and sort of shut us down. And so, middle of the month, I always remember, we were shut down for, it was go home, leave your stuff, 2 weeks, we'll be right back. Well, pretty quickly, it became evident 2 weeks was not going to be 2 weeks. And before that time, I was very structured. I had routine. I was an office person. I was in the office, 8:30 every morning, et cetera. I had my kids off to school and I loved my structure, and COVID just sort of ruined that. It took everything away. And I found myself, being on Zoom happy hours at 4:00 in the afternoon and binge watching TV and eating bad and sleeping late, not, you name it. If it was unhealthy, I was probably doing it. So at the end of the month, I was really frustrated with myself. Mm-hmm. And there was so much going on outside of my world that I couldn't control, lockdowns, the news, death, right? It was just crazy. But I sort of woke up one morning and woke up late, and I was like, you know what? Forget this. And I didn't use the word forget. I said another F word, but I said, I am in control of me and I am going to choose to wake up early. However, I also knew myself, and I also knew I thrive on people. I thrive on being around people, and COVID took all of that away. So what I did is I sent an email out to my office and I said, hey, does anyone want to participate in this group? It's going to be called the 6 a.m.ers. Now, full disclosure, a couple of years earlier, I had a group called the 5 a.m.ers with one of my dear friends, Jake Dreyfus. So I basically just followed a very similar model what we use at 5 a.m., but we did it at 6 a.m., which is a much more manageable time for most people to wake up. And about 50 people signed up. We woke up early Monday through Friday. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, we hopped on a Zoom call. On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, there was a question I posed in Workplace, which is, like a Facebook product here at Compass, and everyone responded to it. We collaborated, we worked together, we had accountability, and it was a very small group. Well, other managers and other agents outside of Philadelphia started finding out about it. They're like, oh, I want to join. I want to join. So month by month, the group sort of has grown. And now where it currently stands, we've had almost 5,000 Compass agents participate for a month. And we have two groups currently. We have the East Coast group that meets at 6 a.m. East Coast time. And then we have a West Coast group, which also encompasses the Mountain and Central time zones. And they meet at 6 a.m. Pacific Coast time. And the whole goal of the group really is, we use waking up early as, and the idea of just giving us an anchor to focus on, which will hopefully produce other habits that are really positive and healthy. Yeah, obviously we're in real estate. We talk about real estate, but the real goal is not to focus on working earlier. The real goal is actually to be, a term we use called healthy selfish. We as agents, all day, what do? All day we focus on others.
Yeah,
right.
We
But all we're,
yeah,
this device,
Yes.
right, our cell phone,
yes,
which we love,
yeah,
all day, all it's doing is clawing at our priorities because other people have priorities.
yeah,
And the reality is, when we get powerful, we need to focus on ourselves, on the things that make us happy. And our mindset and our mind and our outlook on life and on business is the most important thing to set you up for success. So the whole group, the mindset of the whole group really is to wake up early. And I know this might sound ironic, but actually to have fun.
I love it.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's it. So.
And I will say, just to kind of jump in, as a Compass agent, I think one of the biggest and best things that Sky did is he really created this community, the 6 a.m.ers. It's, everybody like is really tight, like such great relationships were made. And I think like there's a lot of commonality, like waking up, reading the same books, like having the same kind of questions asked to them. And at the Compass retreat, everyone's wearing like the 6 a.m. retreats, and there's like West Coast, there's East Coast, and like everyone's like fist pumping. And, he's really built such a community. And it's like, it's just such a positive way to start the morning. And I was at the very beginning in this, and when I met with Sky at the beginning, I'm like, dude, you're like onto something with this. And now it's, I think it's one of like, people are just, it's a family, the 6 a.m.ers, and it's really amazing to like see this grow from such a small little community to now like 5,000-6,000 people. It's powerful.
Yeah, that is so amazing to hear, Sky, because I totally believe in what you say to yourself. Like you said earlier, self-love, or something you said earlier is like your outlook, and you have fun with it, right? I love the fact that you said that you guys are reading the same books too. So it's like more of a community style, and you get to be with each other as realtors, because we consume ourselves during the daytime just focusing on our business so much, like you said. So how do we differentiate us, who we are as individuals, correct? And self-love is so important that sometimes we forget that.
Oh man, powerful.
Yeah. And so tell me a little bit about what else do you teach during the 6 a.m.ers, time that you have together. And by the way, everyone that's here, there is a link up there. Sign up today, of course, and get 1 month free on a 4-month contract. Amazing. The link is right there.
We're very social.
There you go. Very social. Yeah. Well, very social. I'm going to be with you in a couple of weeks, which I'm getting excited to get to know you guys better too. But again, I think it's so important to focus back on what Sky just said, is that we don't tend to focus on us as realtors, right? So tell me give us a little bit of an insight of what happens during this time together.
Yeah. So the basics of the group, the Tuesday and Thursday, we do Zoom calls, and the first Zoom call of the month, we do we set a 1-word intention. So what is one word? And we write it out and we hang it somewhere that's really visible. What is one word that really captures my intention for that month? And what it does, it allows you to have a really simple focus on an anchoring activity, right? So that's usually our first call of the month. And then most of the calls after that are actually interview styles. And the way I describe it, it's basically a cup of coffee with me and another person who is very motivational. And it could be someone inside of Compass or outside of Compass. And it's almost like you're watching us just having a really fun cup of coffee. And a lot of people work out during that time. It's almost like a live podcast, similar to what we're doing now, but it's at 6 a.m. And the whole mindset we have there is if you start your morning with positivity and with community, all of a sudden now you insert this like happiness into your life. And if you picture a gas tank in the morning, if that gas tank is full, throughout the course of the day, you're going to draw down on it, because escrow is going to go bad. Clients are going to get lose out on a multi-bid deal. You name it, right?
Yeah.
You can probably state all these things that draw from our reserve. So it's really critical that you wake up in the morning and you fill your tank with positivity to draw on throughout the course of the day.
I love that analogy, the gas tank. I'm going to remember that because I myself am so much about, again, this is perfect because I wanted to learn from you a little chance that I get. Yeah. I do the same thing in the morning. I'm very positive and, you can't always, it would be silly for me to really, I'd be lying to say, yeah, I wake up with positivity every morning. No, nobody does. But you have to do that shift in your mind. And one thing that I do is, affirmations for me work great. And that's exactly what I do at 6 a.m. in the morning is affirmations, right? I think those are great too. But I love the fact that you said you have to be healthy, selfish.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about what you mean by that.
Such a great question. If you say that most people, if you say to them, hey, I want you to be selfish, most people are going to say, whoa, like, no. Like, I'm not selfish. I'm a great person. And so when we add the word healthy in front of it, what it does, it just creates a little bit of a mindset shift around that word. And when we think about the things that are healthy for us, and the great thing too, is that there is no one thing that everyone should do, right? We all want the blueprint. We all want tell me the 10 things I should do when I wake up in the morning. We got to throw that out because what's good for you may not be good for me. No. What fills my gas tank may not be what fills yours. Mm-hmm. But the challenge we have, especially in today's world, is most of us wake up in the morning, we pick up this device, and the minute we pick up this device and click on the app that opens up the world, our time is not our time.
No,
it's done.
Right.
And we think about right now, everyone that's listening to this, I want you to think about something you love to do that makes you happy and nothing to do with anyone outside of you. So for me, I love working out. Like I love being physical. I love sweating. That's just my thing. That's not everyone. So I want to stress, I'm not sitting on this call saying to everyone on this call, you need to work out, because I don't think that's the answer for everyone. Right? Some people it's meditation. Some people it's reading. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Some people might be just getting a cup of coffee and doing laundry because that gives them a sense of control. So you got to decide. I know it sounds funny, but we do have people in the group that was their thing.
Let me tell you my little secret here. If I don't vacuum and mop my entire house, I don't feel like I started my day right. Great. Besides meditation and yoga in the morning, like in the morning, I'll wake up first thing, the whole house is quiet. And the house is my husband, my kid, my two dogs and my husband and myself. And I have to take that moment to just breathe in and focus on my meditation, but then yoga, a little bit of yoga. And then here I go. And he goes, okay, here's a cup of coffee for her. And here she goes vacuuming, and that's my time because I'm listening to music and I'm vacuuming. He's like, you're crazy. We've got people coming to clean the house, but I love to do that. That makes me happy. Right.
Boom. And you fill your gas tank up with that. Exactly. And that's great for you. And I think in our world today, we're constantly comparing ourselves to other people. And there's a famous, I think it's Teddy Roosevelt said that comparison is the thief of joy. Right. And that's the kind of thing you got to figure out what's good for you. And then you got to do that first thing in the morning and do it consistently. And that's the whole key to this process of really making ourselves happy is we got to learn how to love ourselves and spend time with ourselves, fill our gas tank up. So that way we can draw on it throughout the day. But when we wake up and the first thing we do is go into social media, email or text, and probably all three, all the stress of the night before is now immediately inserted into our world. And
Right.
now, we're trying to fill the tank while we're drawing from the tank at
Right.
6 a.m. So that's like the mindset we have. And that's like one of the first things we do. Tuesday and Thursday Zoom calls. And then the other thing is we pick a book of the month. So last month, for example, we read a book called In Defense of Food. So we had a theme of health, right? So like, all right, what are we eating? And this month, we're talking a little bit about time management. We're reading a book called 4,000 Weeks. And the theme this month is a little around mental health. Next month, we're going to be doing financial health. So I try to pick a little different theme around like aspects of life, so not to say that people need to focus on it specifically, but it gives a little bit of a theme, let's say, for the month, if that makes sense.
I love what you just said, because I'm a note taker. So I write, because when I write, I remember it. I love what you just said about different topics every single month, right? Ryan, let me ask you this question. Ever since you joined Sky and you collaborated with him about this, how has your life changed in business and personal?
Well, I think it just, I know what I'm getting into every morning, like I have a structure, and like I feel like there's a great community. Like I know other people are like doing the same thing, and kind of getting away from that mentality of like, checking the email, checking the phone, like kind of like, just being a little bit selfish to me, because I feel like the morning is so important, because like I'm not getting bombarded. Like I feel like the mornings like kind of like where like I'm getting ahead of my day. If like, let's say I woke up at like 9 o'clock and then boom, all of a sudden like everything, I'm reacting, everything's coming my way. But I think, getting up early and getting my day started, I can like kind of like mentally like be available for myself, and also just like get ahead of the day, like catching up on the stuff that I need to catch up on. And I think like what Sky does so well is that you're not alone out there. There's people, that are all over the country that are in the same boat as you and in the same occupation as you. So like bring all these people together, giving, that commonality of like reading a book, watching a webinar. And he brings on great guests too that are, inspirational, and just like go along with like the theme of every single month.
I think it's so important to understand motivation also. And, sometimes we're down and out on ourselves, and that's where the mental thing comes in, right? The mental challenge all the time. And what we say to ourselves, my dad always used to say that you're your worst enemy, right? What you say to yourself is going to be so important, and you cannot reflect that on what others are saying to you. It has to be like a bounce, right? You have to let it bounce off of you. What are some of the things that you talk about when it comes to mental health? For especially realtors, because knowing in the market that we are right now, like up and down, and we are in a people business, right? So we're always, and sometimes it's like our paychecks depend on that, right? So it's like this mental battle we're constantly having. What is something, and how do you motivate, or what would you say to people with that challenge?
Beautiful. That's a great question. The first thing I would say is that you have to become conscious about practicing it. Mental health, your mind, is so important. And it's very easy for us to say, oh, I want to be physically healthy. Like, oh, well, go to the gym, eat this diet, etc. But because our mind is not tangible, you can't see it. When you say, I want to practice mental health, like, what does that actually mean?
Right.
And you have to decide for yourself what that actually means. And that's number one. And you have to become dedicated to practicing mental health every single day, in my opinion. And what does that mean? You got to decide, is it a podcast? Is it a book? Is it a community? Is it a volunteering event? Is it just like literally just closing your eyes for a minute and thinking about your breath? I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But everyone on this call needs to sort of dig deep and say, this is what makes my mind happy and healthy. The second thing we have to do is we have to embrace this. This is a famous quote that we talk about all the time, is progress over perfection.
Yes.
We are obsessed because of social media. We become obsessed with perfection because of the fact that we are watching social media all the time and we're constantly bombarded with, which is good, is a good thing, right? It's a beautiful images and families going on vacations and all this positive stuff. We have formed this mindset of like, wow, if we're not perfect, we're not good. And we have to actually reverse that and accept the idea that progress is the goal, not perfection.
Exactly. Every single day, a little bit at a time, right? That's how I motivate my team is every single day, say something nice to yourself. Every day in the morning when they come in, I say, they know now an affirmation has to go out. What is your self-talk? And I don't want the fancy affirmations out there. What are you feeling inside right now, this moment, good, bad, or ugly? Tell me, talk to me. I love that because I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking to hear what you're saying. So, okay, I'm doing something right. Awesome.
Right. Yeah. And you also said something I want to pull out too, because this is the third thing is accepting the fact that we're just going to get 1% better every single day. And the reality is there's no such thing as 100% because we're climbing a mountain with no top. There's no top to this mountain we're climbing.
Right.
And the minute we accept that, and a lot of us set goals and we're like, man, if I achieve this goal, that's happiness. And then you get to that goal and then you realize, wait, there's another goal and there was another goal. And when we accept the fact we're climbing this mountain, there is no top to this mountain. And this moment right now, this podcast is happiness for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so present in this moment. Yeah, I have big goals. I have a lot of things I'm trying to accomplish, etc. But I have to remind myself that this moment is pure happiness.
Right.
When I accept that, that's when we can really start to feel it. But I got to practice that every day.
Mm-hmm.
I got to write down what I'm grateful for right now. I got to think about how grateful I am to be on this podcast with you. Right. And that's the thing that we accept. Like, this is just a step on that mountain, but I got to understand I'm never going to get to the top of the mountain. And that's awesome.
Right.
That's what I want.
That's, I was listening to a podcast earlier when I was driving, just I think this weekend, and there's one thing that the person recommended, and I was trying to look for his because I took notes down. One thing that he said is that what are the 3 wins every single day in your journal? Write this down. What are the 3 wins that you've had for the day? Yeah. And what are the 3 wins that you are looking forward to the following day? Right. Yeah. Because again, there's no negativity surrounding that journal right now. So what is it that you're writing down? I think that's so important to get clarity on that. What is one of the advice that you can give around that?
Well, and I also wanted to put it, because I know sometimes like people listen to these, broadcasts like this, or you listen to podcasts. And then I think sometimes people beat themselves up for not being these ultra positive people.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing I want to insert into this conversation, and this goes along with that progress over perfection, is the reality that we are going to have bad days.
We are.
And I think the key thing that we're trying to convey is that when you have those bad days, the first step is just accept it.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, it's okay for me to have a bad day. You know what? And this might sound weird because you just heard me ramble on about positivity and motivation and everything like that. But sometimes when you're having a bad day, rather than saying, oh my God, like I should be positive, I should be grateful, and you say, you know what? I'm going to embrace this.
Right.
I'm going to actually embrace this day. And this is really bad.
Yeah.
And you say, and it's okay. And then from there, that's where you can start to practice positivity again. And I think that's why I like that word of practicing positivity, not being positive, because we're always practicing at it. Because the reality is we are positive and negative beings, right? There's moments where all of us have negative feelings. There's moments where all of us have positive feelings. And when we say, I am positive, we're sort of, and then all of a sudden we're negative. Mm-hmm. It makes us feel bad that we're not being this person. So right. The better term to use for everyone that's listening to this is you want to practice positivity. Because if I'm practicing, playing soccer, like I'm not expecting to score a goal every single time I touch the ball. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So when you say I am positive, that's saying I'm never going to be negative. And if I am negative, it violates this image I have of me. So rather, I want everyone to sort of think about practicing positivity. And then when you're not, it's okay, embrace it, and just know the next day when I wake up, I'm going to get into my routine, gratitude, positivity, meditation, working out, reading, whatever it is that makes me happy. And that's what allows me to start to grow into this, really powerful person of
Right.
having impact with other people.
And
You know
all,
what? I'll let check it. I just want to say, Sky, like, as an agent, it just, we have such an up and down business. Like, we're entrepreneurs. And I always say, like, real estate agents, like, have the busiest job. We have so many different hats that we have to wear. And like, sometimes it doesn't work out. But I think like having someone at like Sky, who's a coach and a mentor and who's just like, talking to agents about this, I feel like it's just, agents, like, I think they want to hear about like what makes them money. But I think like what makes them happy is the type of, information and conversations that we need to have, because our jobs it's tough. I manage about 100 agents' social media. So I kind of see it on a macro level too. And like, everybody has to be on all the time. And in this market with like the low inventory, it's like, you have to be available, and that could like wear. And I think like, like practicing, like actually, being positive, I think is a great mentality. Because it's, sometimes you can take a day off from practice. You have a bad day, but like, if you're consistent with it, it's going to make you a happier person. And because like the wins are great wins in real estate. Like, when you could, make a deal and get one of your clients a home, like it's a big win. But now like, clients are agents are just taking a lot of losses, and that could wear on them. So, actually like making this like a part of like your day to day and like practicing positivity. If you want to be in this business in the long run, like this is what you have to do. Like you have to really be aware of your mental health and take care of yourself and be selfish. And like Sky hit it on the nail. Like the mornings are where your time is you. And, I just think that like what he's doing as like a leader at Compass, it's really the mentality that like as Compass agents, like I feel like we have like a positive attitude, and we are like, we kind of get it, and we work together and we talk about this. Like, but this is the kind of conversations that like all agents need to be having. If they want to be happy and they want to stay in this business and they want to be successful.
I think it's so important.
It's so important. And I think, Junkie, too, to add on to Ryan, those beautiful comments as well. And to add on there, like nothing great was ever created by negativity.
Exactly.
Yeah. No one's ever like accomplished something big and said, I was really negative and that's why I accomplished it. Right? I mean, the reality is the great things are accomplished when you insert that positivity into the actions you're trying to take, and has to be practiced.
And you have to like practice, and consistency has to be there. I mean, all of it is powerful. Those are powerful words. I mean, it takes us, someone who is not used to it. It takes time.
Yeah.
But when you practice, like you said, when you practice every single day, it slowly becomes natural.
Yeah.
Right? And this is just something I got to do. This is part of me.
Yeah.
A couple of questions that came by is, I'm sure you're going to cover this, but content creation, is it better to be consistent or continue to create new graphics, etc., for the same idea? From Marissa. I think Ryan, this one is for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like, you need to be consistently, practicing your positivity. I think the same way you are with social media, the same way that you follow up with your clients, if you're not consistent, you fall off. So, when it comes to social media, like I time block to create content, to strategize on like what kind of content I want to create, to like schedule time with a videographer or a photographer. So I think consistency in anything you do in life is critical.
Yeah, absolutely, right there. And by the way, everybody, if you do, and you must have to go, this is recorded, actually, the webinar is recorded. You will find it on LabCoatAgents YouTube page. All right. Anything else you want to add to this, Sky, Ryan? Floor is all open.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off of what Ryan said, in the sense of not in terms of marketing, but just in terms of anything. The key word is consistency. And you know, to answer Marissa's question, you know, at the end of the day, you can decide to do anything as long as you do it consistently, it'll work.
Exactly.
And I think that it's a really powerful thing. I think the other thing on top of that is actually reducing it down to the smallest possible thing that will move you in that direction of whatever you're trying to accomplish. So I know this might sound funny, but if I want to get healthier, rather than me saying I'm going to do 100 push-ups in a day, I'm going to tell myself I'm going to just do one.
Yeah.
And what it does, it reduces me to say 100 push-ups, like, wow, how am I going to do that? When am I going to fit it in? Oh, I'm wearing my jeans. I'm in a long sleeve. Like, I can't do it. But if I say I'm only going to do one push-up today, I have no excuse whatsoever.
Exactly.
Right? And
then you feel accomplished.
Exactly. Like a lot of people, Ryan, you hear this probably all the time. They're like, social media, I want to get better at my social media. And they say, I got to do this, and I want to do this. I want to do whatever, fill in the blank, rather than them saying, you know what? I'm just going to comment on one person's post today, or reduce it to like the smallest little thing. Because the reality is, once they start doing that, then they're going to be motivated to post a photo or whatever it might be. But we build these mountains out of what we're trying to accomplish, rather than really reducing into one step and then consistency over and over and over. So.
Awesome. I love these great tools that you've given us, some great insights to what it means to, you know, really be good to yourself and practice. I think the key word is practice, and, you know, be consistent in what you're doing. Like Ryan said, you got to, you know, in anything you guys do in life, just be consistent in doing it. There are times when people want to lose weight, but then they do it for a week, and then they fall off, right? The consistency is not there. So how can you expect the results that you want?
Yeah.
Or you know, waking up at 6 a.m. and really focusing on how you want your day to look like.
Yeah.
What else do you talk about? I mean, the books that you gave, what other books would you recommend, actually?
My favorite book is The Compound Effect, it's a very simple read.
Yeah.
And it really goes to this concept we're talking about around consistency. And then I would follow that up personally with the Atomic Habits. Okay. And they both talk about just small things that you do, but then doing it consistently. That's a 1-2 punch for anyone that wants to dive into sort of what can I do to become successful.
Awesome.
Those 2 books are must.
Guys, I got a book right here. A Very Social Broker. Come on, we're talking about books.
I love it. The Very Social Broker. What does that have in it, Ryan?
I think what this book has it really kind of gives you a game plan of how you should go about your social, like producing social media online. But I think something that, I'm a real estate agent, and like I said, we have a lot of jobs as agents working with buyers, sellers, renters. But I really feel like content creation is like one of those jobs, and you have to like put time to doing it. And, you really have to be mentally strong to like get on camera and produce content. Like I talk to agents all the time and they're like, I don't look good on camera. I don't like the way I sound. I'm not an actor. And I think what Sky said earlier is like, you can't be perfect. Like, I think the best social media content is authentic.
Yes.
And I think you just need to do it. Like us as agents, like we're passionate about what we do because we're entrepreneurs. Like this is our business. It's our baby. Just get out there and just like talk about what you're passionate about. And it doesn't have to be real estate. It could be about your morning routine or working out or travel or where you live. You have something to say, like you're in this business for a reason. So like having that like content creator positive mindset is just going to make your content better. Because if you go into doing any kind of content or video and you're negative and you're nervous and it's probably not going to be good. And I think like one of the best things about social media is you want to inspire people. You want to inspire people to be better, to learn about what you're talking about. So like having a really positive mindset going into content creation is vital.
I think it's so important. I love what you said, Ryan. It's so important to keep the consistency going, but more than anything, do something you're passionate about. Something simple I do on Instagram is post the little things my dog does, my golden retriever does, and that gets great, views on it, because I'm so like, whatever silly things he does, I'll post it on. I'm like, look, he's acting silly today, or, look, we're going for a walk, or whatever it might be, right? Do something that you're passionate about. I'm passionate about my little puppy, not puppy, but he's a big golden retriever. He's not little, but, I love to, it's, I don't know, it's just, it gets the endorphins flowing, or whatever it is, right? The serotonin flowing, not endorphins.
I'm passionate about bagels. I talk bagel talk every day. I never thought I'd be like a bagel expert or anything, but everyone wants to talk bagels with me.
Wow. See, so when you pick something you're passionate about, boom, because you're talking from inside, it comes natural to you, correct, Ryan? So it's not like you have to follow a script or anything, and I think that's genuine, and people actually, authenticity is so important in social media world. People see straight through it. Thank you for that tip, Ryan. I really appreciate that. So any last words that you guys want to talk about? We have a few more minutes to go.
I'll just talk a little bit about, in my opinion, Ryan, I'm looking at your TV behind you, and it's there's all kinds.
Not a good day to look at that.
That's my point. My recommendation to every agent that's listening to this is be working at getting better at your craft. This market, in my opinion, is going to change or is already changing. I do believe there will be pockets that won't have any impact, but we're starting to see it in the ultra luxury market. We're definitely seeing it in some of our urban markets. So my recommendation to every agent on this call, irrelevant of which brokerage you're at, is start to get better. There's always opportunity in bad markets, and I don't know where this market's going to go. But I do know if you work at improving your systems and processes, if you work at improving your lead generation, if you work at improving your mindset, if you focus on these three things, all of a sudden now, no matter what the market does, even if the market stays amazing, that's great. But the reality is most agents haven't felt a bad market, because I was in 2002, and then in 2008, this market changed on us almost overnight, right? And it was scary. I don't believe this market change is going to happen like that. I think it's just going to be a little bit of a rounding off, but we need to get our sellers and our buyers educated to the real reality of what's happening. And sellers in a market change, sellers are always 6 months behind, buyers are always 6 months ahead, and you as the agent are stuck in the middle. So whatever you can do to start to try to pull people back together, and really it's going to come down to your systems and your processes. If you don't have a communication plan with your sellers, create one. If you don't know how to understand numbers, look at them. We need to be tracking numbers every single week, if not every single day. What is on market? What's inventory? What are sales prices doing? And we got to be a little careful of some of the lagging numbers, because those are 3 to 4 to 6 months behind us. We got to be looking at the forecasting numbers, month supply, days on market, et cetera.
I love that advice, because again, we're all realtors, and we definitely need to focus on numbers. We need to focus on, of course, on mental health, like you said earlier. And of course, one thing that you always say is practice, healthy health, and be health selfish.
Healthy selfish habits. Healthy selfish habits. Yeah. And you give us a few good pointers. Thank you so much for your time, Sky. Really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much for good content, good advice, Ryan, with content and social media world. And hopefully we'll talk again.
Yes. Great talking to you guys. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.